5. Right now, we go over to the Illinois Center Broadcasting Hotline. That is where we find the innovator of the Diamond Cutter and the 3-time WCW champion Diamond Dallas Page joins us on SportsTownChicago.com. Dallas, how are you doing today?
What's up, boys? How are you?
We are good. Enjoying the nice weather actually here in Chicago for once.
What, nice weather? Is that what you said?
Yeah, nice weather.
Well, you guys deserve it. You put up with enough hell year-round.
Definitely. Now, first of all, looking back on your career, you broke into the wrestling world as a manager. How much did you learn from just the wrestling world, just being a manager first breaking in?
It was sitting on the outside and getting to see all the inner workings. So, it helped out a lot, especially when I finally became a wrestler.
Talking with Diamond Dallas Page, you can follow him on Twitter at RealDDP, as well as follow DDP Yoga on Twitter at DDP Yoga. And be sure to catch the resurrection of Jake the Snake Roberts screening in the Chicago area at the Hollywood Boulevard in Woodridge, Illinois on Friday, October 9th.
How much did Jake help you with the transition to becoming a wrestler, a singles wrestler?
More than anything, Jake, helped me with the psychology, the storyline of a match and how to get the people to care. And that's an inner secret. It normally takes years and years and years to figure out. And, no one is better at psychology than Jake. And that's why I wanted to go back and help him before what he had done for me, And, the movie, The Resurrection of Jake the Snake right now, which will be, on I believe it's the 9th. Is that right? October 9th?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be there with Scott Hall, who's also a part of the movie as well. He also turned his life around over this period, which is pretty unique considering, both of those guys were definitely on people's dead pool, for people who they thought weren't going to make it. And they both turned their lives around really amazing. And I was just happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, fantastic documentary, The Resurrection of Jake the Snake Roberts. What kind of, made you and Sam put this together to kind of film Jake's recovery?
Well, I was just trying to get Jake to be able to walk away from the business with his head held high. Because, if you take the top 10 guys of all time in professional wrestling, and I'm talking about Hogan, Flair, Dusty, Rock, Austin, Michaels. I mean, if you put all those guys together, they're sort of interchangeable who's the top 5 of all time. And Jake was absolutely within that group of guys. And I just wanted him to be able to, to have he had done so much for me, and I was so fortunate enough to have an incredible success with my career in the second half of the 90s. That I wanted just to try to pay him back. And, never knowing if he was ever really going to be able to get clean and sober and get his life together. But I took a gamble on it, sort of like he took a gamble on me. And, it was an amazing ride. Have you seen the flick yet?
Yes, we both have, and I thought it was just fantastic. And I actually will be at the October 9th screening as well.
Actually, we're going to... it looks like we might even stay for the 10th because it's not sold out on the 9th yet for both showings, but it's pretty well there. So we're looking at adding maybe on the 10th as well. So if you're out there and you're listening to this, and don't wait to the day to get your tickets because they won't be there. So you might want to get it early. And I send everybody to JakeTheSnakeMovie.com because that's where if you sign up there, you'll know when we're coming to, your area or where, the VOD, the video on demand, what day that will be released online. And that won't be sometime till over the Christmas holidays. And the DVD, which has so many extra features. Because if you'd have told me that the director, Steve Yu, put together this movie and it was a 9-hour, 9-episode miniseries, I wonder, God, did he get it all? Because, we filmed over 500 hours. And for Steve to make a 93-minute, documentary that rolls like a movie. It couldn't be any happier. What were your opinions?
Wow, that's incredible. That's a lot of hours of footage. I thought it was a great documentary. And my thought was, what was going through your mind when you first visited Jake's house? Because that was kind of hard to watch, that beginning of the film when you had to go and find Jake.
Yeah, it was. A lot of people fall from grace because of drugs and alcohol. And that wasn't the home I would normally have rolled up to for Jake Snake Roberts. So it was a little tough to see. But I'll tell you, if you remember, seeing how fragile he was, how weak and fragile one of the baddest SOBs has ever been. I likened it almost to Earl Campbell. When I saw Earl on A Football Life, Earl Campbell was probably the baddest SOB in the NFL for a long time there, and then you see him now because he's just so beat up, and Jake was a lot like that.
So watching the documentary, I was wondering, I saw what you did with Jake, and I saw what you did with Scott Hall, which was great, and I thank you for doing that for those two guys. But are there any other wrestlers out there that you would like to help?
Well, it wasn't like I was on a quest to help wrestlers. It was like Jake was my boy, and he, like I say, he helped me through my career. I'm never in the position I am in. I always say without Dusty Rhodes, there is no Diamond Dallas Page, but without Jake the Snake Roberts, there's no three-time world champion. I could say a lot of that around Scott Hall, too. I created his whole look and theme and everything for what would become Razor Ramon. It started as a Diamond Stud. And when Scott came back to WCW, my biggest break was dropping the NWO, dropping Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. Nobody'd even touched those guys. They killed everyone. And out of nowhere, hitting that diamond cutter on Scott Hall and then backdropping Kevin over the top rope through the table, that jettisoned my career. Next thing you know, I'm working in the main event with Randy Macho Man Savage. So, we helped each other throughout our careers. And one of my favorite lines in the movie was Scott Hall saying thank you to me for reintroducing himself to himself, like who the real guy is,
Yeah, definitely. Now, you mentioned it right there that without Dusty Rhodes, there would be no Diamond Dallas Page. What's your fondest memory of Dusty Rhodes?
Oh, God, I got so many of them. Dusty, well, he was my mentor, he one of my favorite stories is he would let me vent to him. Like, Jake was my mentor for my ring work, and Dusty was my mentor for my business. I mean, who was a better businessman in professional wrestling than Dusty Rhodes? Nobody. You take a guy who's 300 pounds, not in any good shape at all, but one of the toughest SOBs on the planet, and probably, if not the best talker, top three best talkers of all time. And the way he could talk you into a building and make you pay for that seat and be excited about it. And at one point in my career, I realized the booking committee was never going to believe in me. And I was just like so frustrated. I was talking to Dream on the phone, and I said to him just on a rant, Dusty, I know I'm never going to be you or Flair or Hogan. I said, I know I'm never going to be the world champion, man, but, it's just I'm so, he goes, hold on, He said, what did you just say? And I said, well, Dream, I know I'm never going to be you or Flair or Hogan. He goes, no, what did you say after that? And I said, well, I'm never going to be the world champion. And he said, then what the hell are you doing it for? Dallas, if you don't believe you have the ability to be the world champion, you need to get out of the business right now. And that was the first time he ever really, like, yelled at me. Like, what the hell are you thinking? And I'll never forget it. I had a legal pad next to my phone, and I wrote it down. While I was talking to him, I will be the world champion in 5 years or less. And it was 4 years, 4 months, and 14 days.
Wow.
Wow.
So if he never says that to me, then maybe it never happens.
Right.
Maybe it never happens.
That's a great Dusty Rhodes impression, by the way.
That was really spot on.
We're talking with Diamond Dallas Page. You can follow him on Twitter at RealDDP, as well as follow DDP Yoga on Twitter at DDP Yoga. And be sure to catch the resurrection of Jake the Snake Roberts screening in the Chicago area at Hollywood Boulevard in Woodridge, Illinois on Friday, October the 9th.
Now, speaking of DDP Yoga, how'd you come up with DDP Yoga?
Let me just say one thing before you get to that. We'll be there. I mean, the movie will be there the whole week. So if you miss it with the Q&A, you can still get over to Hollywood Boulevard and see the resurrection of Jake the Snake. And if for some reason you can't get there, go to JakeTheSnakeMovie.com, and that'll show you exactly how to get tickets and, the VOD, the DVD, all of that, T-shirts, signed posters, all that stuff. We're going to have all that up, and you'll know because if you sign up, we'll send you a little email letting you know that stuff's up there now. DDP Yoga came out of necessity. I mean, I honestly was a guy who wouldn't be caught dead doing yoga the first 42 years of my life. But, when you start wrestling at 35 years old and your career takes off at 40, which was in 1996, the birth of, right when the Monday Night Wars were just killing it, we were owning the cable networks. And then in 97 and 98, literally I'm on top of the world. I main evented or co-main evented or semi-main evented in 13 out of 24 pay-per-views, and then I blew my back out. And it was really the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back. And, what happened is, I had nowhere to turn. I just signed a multi-million $3 3-year deal, and 3 of the top back specialists in the world told me my wrestling career was over. So I would try anything. And in came yoga, and within 3 weeks I felt a significant difference. So I started to combine it with my rehab, and I added in, push-ups, squats, crunches, and just what I call dynamic resistance, which jacks your heart rate up, and before you know it, less than 3 months, I'm back in the ring. At 42, they said my career's over because of DDP Yoga. At 43, I was a heavyweight champion of the world.
That's awesome. So, sir, for anybody else struggling with similar problems with addiction and things like that, what would be your advice to them?
I'll give you the same advice that Scott or Jake would give. The biggest thing and coolest thing about Jake Roberts right now is the thing that gets him the most positive and the thing that gets him the most amped up is actually inspiring other people, which if you had told me that 3 years ago, you'd think I was crazy, but at this point, there's nothing like inspiring someone else, to take control of their life, to own their life. And Jake is doing that every day, which is really cool because now he's totally coherent. The fog is lifted, and he's the smart, intelligent individual everyone thought he was. Because all he had to do is clear that drugs and alcohol and addiction. It's still going to be in his life, but moving it to the side. And Scott Hall will tell you, if someone offers to give you help, take it. Because that was the biggest thing. Scott Hall, he never really wanted to ask for help or even take help because it was a sign to show you were weak. But sometimes we are weak in certain areas of our lives, and you need someone else to come in and help steer the boat. How has your success been over the last 10 years? And it's not been good. Maybe you should, as Dustin Rhodes would say, let someone else steer for a while,
Yeah, definitely. Now, Dallas, you also opened up your performance under the DDP Yoga Performance last week. How was that, and where can people get more information about the DDP Yoga Performance Center?
We're right down here in Atlanta, Georgia, a little suburb called Smyrna. It's an amazing place. Stone Cold Steve Austin was here 2 weeks ago. He was coming up to film his Redneck Island in northern Georgia, and he came by here to do podcasts with myself and Jake and Scott, and we filmed him on our 30-foot green screen. Put some chairs down, put the green screen behind him, and we're doing production for whether it be video podcasts or helping the mayor get reelected or doing somebody's commercial, because we have workouts every morning and every night, but from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. we're a production studio. And the main reason I built this place, I call it the house that Shark Tank built, because all the money that I made from Shark Tank, I just rolled it all over into this company, and just to build another extension of DDP Yoga, which is our DDP Yoga Now app. That is a transformation, an interactive transformation app that will be released on Black Friday. It'll be part of our big Black Friday sale, and we're really, really excited about it. And what we have seen, like, this app does so many things. From gives you all the workouts that we have, plus another 20 workouts on top of having workouts for I call it beginner, like people who aren't even ready for the beginner workout yet. Normally they're late 50s, 60s, 70s. Their bodies have crippled up, and they stop activating muscles that I'm going to show them how to, so they can get to my beginner workout and get to my intermediate workouts and so on. But we're also doing DDP Yoga for kids. We got a 30-foot green screen. It's 18 feet high. And when we lay the floor down, it's another 18 feet out. And we're going to do DDP Yoga on the moon. We're going to do DDP Yoga with kids. But it's going to be like a superhero. I'm in a movie coming up this Christmas, or it might be in January, called Gods and Secrets. And I play a superhero in it. And I'm going to take a version of that superhero onto the green screen, and with two other kids, that boy and a girl that are little superheroes, and we're going to get 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old kids, because they're already doing, a lot of them are already doing DDP Yoga with their parents. It's a great way for kids to bond with their family, and we're going to get them doing it where they're really having fun. And then we also have our own cooking shows that are all going to show people how to eat real food that tastes amazing.
That's awesome.
That's great. So, real quick, what do you think about Sting finally making the jump to WWE? And did you happen to see his performance at Night of Champions?
I didn't get a chance to see it, but I heard a lot about it. And, Sting's a warrior. I knew that, once the WWE went to PG, that Sting would be a part of it, because he's a born-again Christian, that he walks the talk. He just doesn't talk it. If you ain't walking it, he ain't being on board. And he would never have been involved in the Attitude Era. But today he would be. And I think that, it's time for him to finally let go. He could get out there, and he did it. From what I understand, he did a hell of a job. But you're still 55 or 56, and I'm glad that he went out, with a hell of a performance. And hopefully he won't get in that ring. Because I know that I might be crazy enough to do it if it was RKO versus Diamond Cutter. But I don't want to do it. My body feels too good. And anybody can say what they want about professional wrestling. You can't fake gravity. Gravity will definitely get a hold of you.
Right. And, that was going to lead to my next question. It was going to be, are we going to see DDP one more time? Are we going to see, RKO versus Diamond Cutter? Are we going to see the People's Champ DDP versus the People's Champ The Rock, maybe?
That should have happened in 2001, but I dropped the ball there because I let them, I let the WWE convince me to do the other one, the Stalker angle. In retrospect, I would love to go back in time and just done People's Champion versus People's Champion, not caring who came out on top. It just would have been an amazing feud with who is today the greatest, entertainer, the number one box office draw on the planet, The Rock. And I couldn't be any more prouder of him, that he's one of us, and he's the biggest star in the world, which is pretty damn cool. But the thing I learned the most about that whole venture, where I let someone change my idea, my goal, I learned never let that happen again. And you can't be afraid to walk away from the table, and that's what I really realized too. And I'll tell you what, it was the best business move I made, because ever since that day, any business move I have ever made, if I don't feel 100% in control of the situation and controlling my own destiny, I walk away. And I'll give you the best example for Shark Tank. When I had 5 interviews with Shark Tank, and they started with phone calls, became Skype calls, became video presentations. It took quite a few months. And when I finally got to the end of the 27-page contract, and they said to basically they would control me, when it came to any PR, and I will not be controlled by anybody. And I was walking out the door, and I looked back at my president of my company, Steve Yu, and I said, Steve, send the guys at Shark Tank an email, thank them for the opportunity, tell them we loved the show, but we're going to pass. And he was like, seriously? We've been working 2 years on this. I said, yeah, dude, but I'm never letting anyone control me again. I didn't get to Chattanooga, which was less than 90 minutes. And as I was getting ready to pull into Chattanooga, I got a call from Steve. And he said, bro, we got the executive producer on the line. He wants to talk to you. When I got on the phone with him, he said, Diamond, how can we fix this? And 3 contracts later, I signed, and it was the best thing I ever did. But I did it under my terms.
Now, one more question before we let you go. What can people expect from the screening of The Resurrection of Jake the Snake Roberts in Woodridge, Illinois on October 9th and 10th at the Hollywood Boulevard?
I will read you something that was sent to me from, do you know the actor Josh Brolin? I
do, yes.
He's one of the top actors in the world, and I'm trying to find I just got like 1 million texts, Everybody's texting me right now. Let me try to pull it up while I'm talking to you here, see if I can pull up what he wrote, because I was like, wow, that's powerful. He had seen the screening because we really want him to do the Q&A for our show. And he wrote, just watched the doc, and I am stunned in silence. A happy ending, at least till now. Wow, DDP, what an amazing guy, real man. Thank you so much for turning me on to that. A great story of hope and love and real compassion. I think that's what people can expect by seeing it. We just put something up on my DDP TV YouTube channel from Tuesday night, people who came out of the theaters and what they had to say. And it's powerful. You don't have to be a wrestling fan. Now, wrestling fans are going to love it. But people who know nothing about wrestling, they're going to love it. And everybody knows somebody somewhere in your family, extended family, you've got someone who's an addict of some sort. It's interlaced through our, all of our, lives at this point. Taking someone to this movie might really help them, and to see that it doesn't have to be like that. In Jake Roberts' words, it doesn't have to go down like that. So, I've been very, very, very proud of my nightclub career when I was running nightclubs. Crazy proud of my wrestling career. Crazy over the top proud of my DDP yoga life. But this movie right here, The Resurrection of Jake the Snake, is by far the most important thing I've ever done or been a part of. And I can't tell you how many times me and Steve sat in our offices and looked at each other after one of the cyclical up and down, because there was a lot of ups and downs in this movie, and looked at each other and said, do you think anybody's ever going to see this? Wow.
Right.
And that it's actually being seen, and people are giving it the greatest reviews. We couldn't be any happier. And if you're listening and you can't get down to Hollywood Boulevard on Friday, Scott Hall, a.k.a. Razor Ramon, and I will be there. We'll be doing Q&As after the movie, and then we go right to our meet and greet section where people can purchase, T-shirts, signed posters, pictures. We'll be there for that. And it looks like we might be going to stay there and do Saturday as well. So, get on the phone. You can get everything at JakeTheSnakeMovie.com. And if you can't make it, no worries. Just sign up there, and we'll make sure when the VOD, video on demand, is out there, and the DVD, and the whole ball of wax T-shirts, the whole thing. They're really cool.
All right, sounds good. I'll see you on October the 9th because I will be there watching the screening as well.
Awesome, man. Look forward to seeing you.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day, Jake.
Thanks.
Or
DDP.
Yeah. You said Jake.
Or DDP.
Or DDP.
That's okay.
You said Jake, and I got confused.
No worries, bro. It's all good.
All right.
It's all good.
Talk to you later,
man.
dude.
See ya.
That was our interview with DDP, not Jake the Snake.
Yes, Diamond Dallas Page.
Diamond Dallas Page. But really solid interview. He had a lot of good stuff. And a cool thing that he said right there is that they are going to be doing Saturday as well because it's doing so great in this area.
Well, yeah, this is doing great in general. I mean, all of the reviews that have gone out, and, I got to see it early, and then I know you got to see it early.
Yeah, I got to see it, man. It was phenomenal documentary.
It was really good, and just like DDP said there, you don't have to be a wrestling fan to like this.
No.
But if you are a wrestling fan, you're really going to enjoy it. I think my favorite part is probably the ending when Jake, Scott, and DDP are just in the ring. Just strewing around.
Just strewing around. I mean, I think my favorite part is just seeing the recovery, seeing where Jake was at to where he is at right now.
Right.
I think just in general, just to see that transformation was my personal favorite. I thought that was phenomenal. And like you said, when one of the questions we asked him was, what was going through your mind when, you were with
when he saw Jake for the first time.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I guess he hadn't seen Jake in a long time, and that was the first time he saw him in forever, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.